welcome to Onesies, a podcast of onesies and wonders and blunders. My name's Andrew.
My name's Emily.
And we are back discussing not 1926s, but rather 2016s. Some of the numbers were the same. 2016's Channel 4.
Channel 4.
Channel 4, Phoebe Waller-Bridge limited series, actually. Crashing. I'm not going to forget to say the title of it. It is Crashing. And we are on episode 2, entitled Episode 2, because they're British that way.
Yeah. So we left off last week where Lulu, our star, ends up moving into the hospital, or agreeing to move into the hospital. And the very first scene of this is Lulu crashing on the floor. Lulu crashing on the floor next to her best friend. Is his name Anthony?
Anthony.
And his sweetheart / fiance, Kate. And for some reason, like, they live in this hospital and they don't have a spare place for her to lay. So she very awkwardly lays there. She opens her eyes and Anthony opens his eyes first and sees her, looks at her in that creepy way that people do. And then
this is why I don't nap around you.
And there's this whole back and forth where he closes his eyes and she opens hers, and she closes hers and Kate opens hers, and it's just building this tension. Clearly this is a love triangle. Maybe Lulu and Kate will end up together.
We shall see. So
I doubt it.
Possibly not. But yes. So we left off last episode not only with Lulu apparently going to move in, but also Colin. However, we start this episode, and I've never quite seen a British show, even Toast, which had its first episode as a separate production, like it was a play for today or something, right?
Yeah.
But the production is totally different between last episode and this episode.
Yeah.
So last episode, we had lots of comments about how they were filming, and there appeared to be people working in the hospital behind them. Here, there are people behind them, but it's like one or two people randomly standing there, and we've established that there are more people than just them living in this hospital, which makes even less sense because it is falling apart, which we did not get out of last episode because it was a working hospital.
Right.
Like last episode felt like they were sleeping over in the hospital every night because it didn't have security. Now we are getting into they are living in this condemned building.
Yeah.
And Colin is not there. And this is apparently the next day. And so we start with the bath. So after they wake up, and the other thing is, we are not going to put off dealing with the romantic triangle. Like this opening thing, I was like, oh, we're going to build to this until like episode 5 and do something. Fuck that. No,
it's going to be awkward all 6 episodes, I feel like.
Yes.
It's going to come to a head. Anthony and Lulu are going to be like ravaging each other, and Kate is going to walk in. Like, I feel like that's how it's going to end.
Yeah, but I mean, that's going to be the beginning of next episode at this pacing. So,
it's just going to be 4 episodes of them fucking intercut with all of the other scenes.
Yes.
That take place over a day, and they're just fucking all day long.
Pretty much. Like as performance art on display for the people of London. Okay, but the next scene after this weird wake up thing, we're gonna Frosted Hair Boy is gonna show Lulu to her room, where they talk about how it's a condemned building and all this other stuff. Do they talk about poop? They talk about something gross, and it got me thinking, because as he leaves, there's just this puddle on the floor that no one refers to, and I was like, was that supposed to be pee? What's going on? But then what's her face? Kate takes a bath. We have Anthony asking her to do a little show for him.
Which was creepy. It was creepy, right? I mean, they're like together, and that's fine. but it came off as kind of creepy. Like she didn't seem to be interested in
Not at
doing
all.
it.
She was not interested at all
And
with
he
it.
was just like,
So
no, come on. I've seen you naked before. Come on.
it was
Come on.
very weird.
It was
And
weird.
it implied they haven't really possibly they don't have sex on the regular too, which we shall see. Which is not the vibe we got off of last episode.
No.
But anyway, so the building is falling apart, including the light bulb. So first the mirror falls and she complains about that. Then the light bulb falls into the bath just before she gets in, which would have presumably electrocuted her. And so they're freaking out about that. She goes out to talk to everybody in the morning. Now we are in like it's a dilapidated room. We are not seeing people filing medical records behind them anymore. And so then we just sort of catch up with the cast, like, because nobody wants to listen to Kate because she's a buzzkill, even if she did almost get killed. But basically, French girl really wants Colin to come back because she wants to fuck him. Last episode, we sort of were wondering if this was a bit that she was just trying to make him embarrassed. This episode, she's like, I am a French woman. Gerard Depardieu movies broke me, and I want nothing more than to fuck a dumpy 47-year-old white man. Like, it is just my dream to fuck a 47-year-old dumpy white man. Fred is back. He and Frosted Hair. Is that Sam?
Colin? Or Sam.
Sam. Who's Colin?
Colin is the 47-year-old dumpy
Colin's
white man.
the 47-year-old dumpy.
Yeah.
Dumpy, not dummy. He's not necessarily dummy. He's just...
No, I said dumpy.
He's not... He's British. He's not ready to experience female... enthusiastic consent. He's never experienced that
French
in his life.
Sensuality. Yeah.
Right. So they're gonna all talk. Lulu's gonna say, I need a job, and then this is after Kate has complained she needs a receptionist and nobody listens to her problems. And so they're like, perfect, here's your receptionist. We've also had the Sam and Sam has ambushed Fred already in the morning.
Yeah.
Being overtly physical with Fred, giving him a little wood, getting his hopes up. They're going to hang out, but for no reason. There's no reason they need to hang out. Sam just wants to hang out.
Yeah.
They're going to talk about work stuff, and Fred eventually goes to work. And then everybody's going to go about their day. Colin does not get to come over or whatever. And so then we sort of cut to the work day, and now we're going to be in this, multi-level working sitcom for basically the rest of the episode, which is not the vibe we got from last episode.
No.
Last episode made it feel very much like we were only going to be in this one location.
But it's good because we're getting a little bit of background. We were both, I think, confused about where they were, what they were doing, like how they know each other. I, for one, thought that they all worked together. And that was that first scene where they were all in the hospital and people were working around them. So I just was, extras, office workers, whatever. But no, they were filming in a live, active hospital.
Those people behind them were ghosts, which we have not confirmed is not accurate.
So I was excited about this because the Fred at work scene isn't as illuminating, but he's just got like a boring office job. I don't even know what he does exactly. But it was exciting to see Kate at her, whatever her job is. And her
everything marketing, wasn't it? That's
something planning, event planning or something. I don't know, whatever. It doesn't matter. It was so stupid. But it was an excuse to see her interacting with other people.
Yes, including establishing that there's some dude at the office she really wants to fuck who looks just like Sam. I mean, he's better looking than Sam, but he has
not
the exact...
Sam.
Yeah.
Anthony.
No. The dude at the office has frosted hair.
Does he?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He seemed like a hot version of Sam. But yes, so Lulu's starting the job. She's like giggling about the stupid name of the company. Susan Wokoma Wacomo, the friend from last episode, she works there, Jessica. And she's going to have quite a few observation lines throughout the episode. But
I love her because she does not put up with Kate's bullshit.
No,
at
she
the
does
end.
not.
We'll talk about that at the end. I love it.
But so we've just got, Lulu starting answering calls. We established there's this hot dude at the office, and then we're going to check in on.
We also established that Colin is working there, and
Colin
he's still struggling.
And he's like,
there are just
wailing.
some scenes they cut to him where he just breaks into tears. I feel like they reused the one time. They reused that shot.
Yes. So he's in anguish. He is a broken British man. So, pretty quickly, we're going to just move along to Lulu gets a text from Anthony that says, hey, do you want to come and have lunch?
Yeah. He works at a restaurant, apparently.
We find out about this restaurant that he worked at. Yes. What's also very weird about this is the synopsis on Wikipedia, while it appears to apply to the show itself, it doesn't really, like, the cast list does not really apply to the when talking about their professions, it doesn't really apply to the pilot. It makes it more confusing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he invites Lulu to lunch. Lulu's like, hey, Kate, do you want to go over to lunch together? I assumed Anthony invited you. Kate's like, no. Also, you can't go to lunch. You have to go deliver this package. Let me go get it for you. At that point, French girl calls the office to talk to Lulu and is like, hey, get me a piece of that dumpy British ass for lunch. I want to bite it. And Lulu's like, I can't. And the French girl's like, come on. And she's like, okay, fine. And they're like, okay, meet us at Anthony's restaurant.
So we have this establishing thing where they're all going to kind of be in the same place, except for Fred and
Sam. I think we missed that the subplot of so if the A plot is the Lulu Kate workday thing, and the Colin thing is sort of a tangent of that. But the B plot is Sam pulling Fred out of work to hang out, and he, basically just, flatters Sam with attention that Sam finds stimulating. It's adorable. Yes. Again, like, we'll get to it, but regardless of what they say, I'm not giving up on this till the last episode. So we have that throughout the episode too, just the two of them hanging out in the city during the day, Fred bunking off.
And I think his office environment, we see it very briefly, is gray and drab, and I think it suits the character really nicely. And so to have like this flashy, frosted tip, handsome guy showing up to take him out of work to have fun, I thought was a nice contrast.
Yes. So then so we also have Kate has gone out and bought a hat during the workday that she tells
We forgot
Lulu.
To mention that she saw Lulu's hat in the morning scene.
In the morning scene, she stared jealously at Lulu's hat, or stared. I don't. It's I don't. But then we're gonna cut to the restaurant where Kate tells Lulu she can't have lunch with Anthony because she's got a very important business meeting. And you can't have lunch with Anthony because you've got to deliver this package. So we then cut to the restaurant where
Kate's
wearing her hat, hang out with Anthony.
Yes.
Anthony's like, where's Lulu? It'd be cool if she could have hung out. Kate's like, Jessica, that bitch, made her deliver a package at lunch.
Yes.
So then Kate's like, well, but I'll have lunch. To which then Lulu arrives with Colin. They're soon ambushed by the French girl. So Lulu or French girl and Colin go off together. We'll check in on them in a bit. But we're going to establish that Lulu's like, hey, what's up? And Kate's like, I thought you were delivering that package. And Lulu's like, I thought you had a business meeting. And so you can't stay for lunch. And she's like, no, I can't. I have a business meeting. And then Anthony's like, oh, I deliver a packet. I deliver lunches to that restaurant or to that business that you're delivering that
Yeah.
to. I will deliver that for you to this person. We look at the package and they're like, oh, that's the most made up looking last name anybody's ever seen.
Yeah.
So we then Kate leaves, or Kate rushes out first. Lulu has lunch and then leaves. Colin and French Girl have lunch. We established that this is a restaurant called Fork Off or
Yeah, something like that. And
something like
it's
that.
a restaurant where they don't use utensils, but they serve soup or something. Like,
Yes, and they talk about how they're serving it in the North African tradition. They have apparently never been to an Ethiopian restaurant because you would have the bread.
the bread. Yeah.
The bread.
So they're literally just scooping this soupy stuff out of a bowl into their mouth.
The French
But
girl
Melody takes it a step further.
Yes.
Because she's nervous. I'm using finger quotes. She spills it all down her arm and she's like licking it off of her arm and off of her fingers, which is not attractive. If it was actually an attempt to be sexy, it failed.
It makes Colin very uncomfortable.
Yes.
And he hightails it.
Yeah.
Okay. But they do have a conversation at this point where she's like, what is it going to take for you to move in with me? Is it going to take your wife and her boyfriend having sex in the bathtub while you shave? And he's like, that would do it. Okay, pin in that. So we then cut to Lulu. We might cut to Sam and Fred, who are walking in a park. And then it turns out they're at the dispersal of Fred's father's ashes, or not Fred's father's, Sam's father's ashes.
Sam's father, yeah.
And that Sam just wanted a friend with him for this. And so Fred is in the middle of an ice cream cone, but he sticks that behind his back so they can solemnly watch these ashes be spread. Okay. So then Lulu catches Kate having lunch somewhere, and Kate pretends the guy she's sitting next to is the person she's having lunch with. And we get this series of awkward, cringe moments where Kate's pretending to talk to the guy while talking to Lulu. It culminates in some lady coming up and sticking her tongue down the guy's throat, and Lulu just being like, well, this is weird. I'm going to move along.
Yeah.
While
so
Kate
that was one of those like really weird scenes to me where like it felt like it was taken from some slapstick sort of comedy, like where increasingly absurd things would happen.
Mm-hmm.
But toned down to that cringe comedy level.
Yes.
It was I found it more than cringe, just kind of unsettling.
Well,
I was so uncomfortable.
We were talking last episode about how is Kate like the de facto villain of this series. I don't know if she's the villain, but we are certainly getting the vibe that she is so sort of repressed and other things.
And insecure.
Well, I mean, maybe not unjustifiably considering the situation.
But at the same time, like, does not have the emotional intelligence to handle it.
No, and also there's also the whole like, yes, she's, jealous of Lulu and Anthony, but like she wants the guy at the office to fuck with her. Like it is just and we'll get to that in a bit, but like, yeah, it is. She's she's not a super likable character, I guess is enough.
She's not a super likable character. I think the fact that she's not handling her jealousy very well, the fact that she's so uptight, probably because like having control over something is filling a void where she doesn't have control, in her insecurities. And then just lying. Like she's lying all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it is, I think, the least attractive thing about her. The fact that she just keeps lying. And the big lie at the end, which we'll get to, or near the end, where Jessica calls her out, is great.
Yeah. so it's it's not what I was expecting, but it is upping a cringe factor that I was not really getting out of the pilot either. But I
Yeah.
mean, I think it is. I have no problems with it. It's just not really the show we thought we were going to get from last episode in some ways.
Yeah.
Like it's because we're not. This is not episode 3 where she's been long, like not conning, but like this is not episode 4 where there's been a problem with her and Lulu or anything. Like at this point, Lulu is being totally cool. There's no
And she's got her eye on another man,
yeah,
and like she's really trying to ignore the fact that she allegedly has feelings for Anthony.
right. So we then go back to the office where Kate tells Jessica to fire Lulu, and Jessica's like, why? And she's like, because, I think she's doing a bad job or something. She's
Her
like,
voice
her
isn't
voice
very
on the
welcoming.
she doesn't take us seriously or something, like
Yeah.
stuff like that. And so Jessica goes over and we see them talking, and she's like, okay, I promise I won't, call you out on this, Kate. Like, I got you. Lulu's looking back at Kate almost immediately. Jessica walks back over, sits down. She's like, well, that didn't go well. Or she's like, oops. Lulu comes over and she's like,
no, she walks away. She's like, that didn't go very well.
Oh,
she
and then
walks away,
off.
and then Lulu appears.
Lulu appears and she's like, Jessica said, I'm fired? You want me fired? And Kate's like, no.
I loved it.
No, I don't. I don't know what you're talking about. I want you to stay. And she's like, well, okay, because I'm going to fuck that dude. And the dude's over. He's like, Lulu, do you want to fuck tonight? Oh, hey, Kate. Or whatever. Yeah. Hey, Kate. And she's like, and she's like, but I have my job, right? And Kate's like, yes, you still have your job.
I loved it. I loved it so much.
Amazing. Because
I want Jessica to be the hero of everything. Like, she needs to be the main character. Because having her just swoop in and like solve
the plot, basically.
The plot, like it's cool, but we need her to do more.
Yeah. She needs to talk to Sam about,
she needs
his
to
relationship.
Fuck Sam. She needs to do everything. Everything. I want her to have everything she needs in life to be happy. That's
very nice.
Thank you.
We should watch Year of the Rabbit next.
Yes, we should.
So then I think we basically just cut home. I think we're sort of wrapping it up for the night. Melody sees Colin in like approaching the hospital because he appears like he's ready to move in.
Yeah.
So she runs out and gets him, and then he's sort of just around, I feel like, for the rest of the episode. We then get some confrontation between Anthony and Kate about the package, because he's like, why did you have Lulu delivering a stapler to a person at a building, to a person who doesn't exist?
Yeah.
And it turns out Anthony took the package in like he said he would. They had no idea who this person was, so they opened the package, feeling it a sus situation, and then they all discovered it was just a regular office stapler, and Kate was just being a shit to Lulu. And so I think we touch on that she's jealous here, right? Like we do. Yeah. So she does mention that, and they're kind of like, well, you don't need to be jealous type thing.
But then it gets even worse.
because
Lulu comes to the door of their bedroom, or the whatever room they're using as their bedroom, to ask for a blanket or a towel, which was sort of, we skipped over that part.
Yeah.
Anthony tells her, like, buy a duvet so you don't come knocking at our door asking for a towel to sleep on. Well, she's trying to be cool about it, but Kate is smart enough to know that the hottie from The Office, is there. And they go next door and fuck very
Loudly.
loudly.
Very,
Well,
very loudly.
and the camera just fixates on Kate's face
Yep.
where I don't know what that expression is on her face. I don't know if she's jealous. I don't know if she's upset. I don't know if she's horny. Like, I don't know what that look is on her face,
Yep.
or a combination of all of those things.
Yep.
But Lulu's getting her some, so she should be happy that
she's not interested in your boyfriend. She's interested in the guy you actually fuck. Like,
Oops.
She's interested in the guy you told your boyfriend not to worry about. Like,
yeah.
And she scored it like right away. So yeah, this is sort of, and yeah, we caught up a little bit with Anthony and Lulu at the restaurant while she was having lunch there, but really not very much. I feel like Anthony, in some ways, also Lulu is not as big of a character in this as you would have thought from the pilot. Like the first episode sort of established Lulu and Anthony as the leads, but this episode, I mean, they're way more focused on Kate's shenanigans. Also, she comes home wearing the hat, and I think it's Sam is like, "Why are you wearing a hat?"
Yeah.
And so she throws it away. So yes, we are, we're going to have some things are going to happen with these folks. And it certainly
I can't wait. I can't wait for Kate to stop being a shit, for her to get some kind of comeuppance. I really just want there to be some consequences for her shit behavior, And I feel like we are, watching a contemporary television show written by a woman, and so potentially there will be some consequences, and it might not be like her getting burned at the stake, but it would be, maybe she gets the other guy and she's happy with the other guy, or maybe, she has a mental breakdown and ends up in a hospital, right? Like, who knows what it is, but it's not going to be her like getting tied to railroad tracks and murdered, right? Like, she's not going to get raped in an alleyway.
What if it is? Not the second one. What if we don't know, but Phoebe Waller-Bridge really liked Melrose Place and it ends with her killing everybody?
No.
Okay. No. I don't think it'll be that, but I do think she's going to have a spectacular fail. Like, I do think whenever she breaks, it's going to be pretty significant, because she is really set up in some ways as the lead here. This is about what's happening to her.
And I can see it going so many ways. And I do hope that it ends up like she has her breakdown and Lulu helps her through it, right? And then they become like besties. I really hope it's something like that. But who knows? We'll see.
We'll find out. And and we didn't talk about Sam and Fred because the scene is so depressing.
It is. So
Sam and Fred are sitting in bed together, snuggling.
Fully clothed,
but snuggling.
Allegedly. I mean,
we don't know what's going on under the covers.
Yeah,
that's true. Then Sam would be an even bigger shit. They just gave each other handies, and he's like, "No kissing, dude, no kissing." But so Sam's like teary-eyed. They're talking about his dad a little bit, and then he needs a hug, and this is they're finally watching the rom-com they talked about watching at the beginning of the episode. And so Sam puts his arm around him and gives him a hug, or Fred does. Sam starts crying, and then Fred starts finger massaging Sam's hand, and Sam's like, we're not doing this, man, sorry, that's never happening. But then it's not like there's not a gay panic moment. No. It's just we're not.
But he does. Sam watches Fred's hand pull away with a satisfied smile. What a bastard. He's toying with this poor young man's heart, and it makes me so sad.
But also, you desperately want it to work out. So that is episode 2. I think we end on the fucking in the other room.
Okay.
I think that's where we ended because Anthony's like, "Why do you care if she's getting her rocks off?" And Kate's like, I just want to watch."
I just want to watch this woman that looks eerily similar to me have sex with this guy that I want to fuck.
And Anthony's like, "That's weird. I do too." So
yeah. Huh.
Okay. That's why season 2 didn't get renewed. Didn't get a
well,
season
it's
2.
because Fleabag was coming out at the same time, roughly. And Fleabag was much more successful. Okay, well, that leads us into next week's episode, episode 3. Again, I'm not going to read the Wikipedia summary because it will give away the plot, and we don't need that. So, I look forward to more slightly less cringy moments. I look forward to seeing some fucking. I mean, they did it in Fleabag. Let's do it. Come on. Maybe get Andrew Scott in there. Yeah, let's get Andrew Scott in there. He's way more attractive than any of those men on this show. Let's do it. And yeah, Andrew, I will see you in television land.
All right, Emily, I'll see you in television.